This is about reviving our community. So we wanted the commercial property sector to get a good idea as to what happens in the charity world, and we're trying to link the two groups together. Councillor Bassam Mahfouz is a Labour candidate in the Borough of Ealing. He is also an Ealing Labour Cabinet member for safety and genuine affordable homes. Plus, he's got a double hat on today actually. He's the CEO of a Kingston-based charity which is benefiting from rent-free space that complements their own main site that they have in the borough.
My name is Bassam Mahfouz. I'm a councillor in Ealing. I'm a cabinet member and have been for over a decade, and covered a number of different portfolios, so everything from environment, but led on finance, which included business rates, and then in terms of supporting businesses in my last portfolio, I'm now responsible for housing. And in May, on the 2nd of May, I'll be standing for the London Assembly for Ealing and Hillingdon. So with that hat on, I think absolutely this challenge I've seen time and time again with, talk about the finances that Jess referred to there, £250 million of lost revenue to local authorities. Just to put that into some, and over half of that is put down to this specific issue of box shifting. So to put that into a bit of context, that would build you 2,000 new council homes in one of the biggest housing crises facing the country. We could create 150,000 new hospital beds or build 12 secondary schools with that sort of money. And the reality is that local authorities have been facing significant cuts over the past 14 years, and at one point that looked like for every £1 that councils used to get from central government, about 64p in that pound had been cut. So if that is you or I, the sorts of decisions that you'd have to make, if your income was cut by that amount, you'd have to make some really serious decisions about what you could and couldn't afford. And so local authorities are no different. They've had to look at things like dimming lights, closing children's centres, which are obviously critical services for young people, older people's day centres, libraries, introducing additional charges. Now, most of you, wherever you live, anywhere in the country, you'll have heard of some of these, if not all of them, being impacted on your local authority. We're now hearing almost on a week-to-week basis local authorities serving what is in effect a notice of bankruptcy, because they are most of them are on the brink of bankruptcy, if not there pretty much already. And if this continues, it will just get worse. But as I said, I'm standing for the London Assembly myself on the 2nd of May, and we're going to get a quote up in a bit from Leonie, who I'll be hoping to join on the Labour group, who talks about the benefits of banning box shifting and making the legislative changes that are necessary. And the London Assembly recently wrote to the Department for Local Government to ask for those legislative changes to come about. The benefit is that, of course, the obstacle to change is you might know you want to get rid of something because it's awful, but what do you replace it with? Well, the reality is actually Wales and Scotland have already dived in with both feet, and so we've got a couple of templates there that could be taken off the shelf. Do you want to talk about the charity stuff now? Or do you want me to
we can save that for later.
Save that for a bit later.
Thank you.
All right, but I think absolutely, we touched upon it, and I'll talk about it in a bit more detail. But absolutely, one of these great opportunities through this which is a real win-win-win, is to support the charitable sector with as an alternative, legitimate way of dealing with empty properties.